guys, Cameron here with Canadian Gamer. As you can see, I'm out in the nature trail here. I think I'm the only one out here. It's about minus 20, minus 25 up in Ontario, Canada. You can see my breath. So again, if somebody walks by, this might get awkward, but I'll just tell them I'm shooting a YouTube video. So what are we doing out here today besides getting some fresh air? I just want to talk about, obviously we're in the dead of the winter, at least in some parts of the world. Just wanted to actually showcase a few games that take place in a winter-esque, picturesque setting, and they might be great games to play during this time of year. That, or maybe you could play a game that doesn't take place in the winter to take your mind off the winter blues. So without further ado, let me showcase the games, and if we have time at the end, we'll open it up for some banter, some discussion and whatnot. So the first game here is Goldeneye Rogue Agent. Not saying it's the best game in the world, but from what I've played, it takes place in the winter, and it really sets the tone. Really good set pieces, really good graphics. In my opinion, it's one of the better GoldenEye games on this side of 007 on the N64. You can find it dirt cheap. I highly recommend. You get it on the PS2, original Xbox, and the GameCube as well, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm freezing to death here. I'm doing this for you guys to keep you busy. We've got obviously a game based on the classic John Carpenter film, The Thing. A game that is, again, a bit underrated, not hard to find. It's kind of like, almost like online co-op, but you can play it single player campaign, and you've got like 3 or 4 NPCs that work with you as you work your way through the game. I haven't gotten far into it, but again, if you've seen the movie, the game's a continuation of the movie, and again, highly recommend picking up The Thing. For no other reason than an awesome cover art. Again, the movie is one of my favorite movies of all time, incredible soundtrack. Obviously we've got SSX3. Any of the SSX or snowboarding games for that matter could probably be on this video. Obviously 1080, tree branches are falling around me here. 1080 snowboarding on the N64, Snowboard Kids on the PS1. SSX Tricky is a good one as well. It's either Tricky or this one where you can go completely down a mountain from top to finish, and it's a really good experience. Really good graphics, a blast to play, extremely fun. In my opinion, if you can pick it up on the if you can pick it up on the original Xbox, I think this is backwards compatible with the Xbox One. Another one that might be a little bit of a surprise for you guys here, Mafia 2, starring the incomparable Vito Scaletti. That's it. So this one here, this one really gives off the winter vibe in New York City. You know, driving around in those old retro 50s-esque cars, and the snow on the ground, the snow's flying around, and I just remember having a blast playing this, and you can see the snow on the ground when you're running through the streets, and just a fantastic representation of the winter months, you know, around December, January, February. Just an amazing game. It's too bad Mafia 3 was just not very good. Mafia, the original, is good as well, but Mafia 2, in my eyes, that's the sweet spot in the series. So we have just a couple more here. Actually, just one more. Siberia 3. Obviously the Siberia games, all 3 of them could probably be on this video. Again, they take place over in you know, Russia, Siberia. So just a fantastic representation of the winter months. An adventure game, very much in the same vein as the point-and-click adventures from the PCs of the mid-90s. If you guys haven't played Siberia 3, I highly recommend it. It was a bit glitchy when I started playing it when it first came out. Hopefully it's been patched by now. Again, I can't really blame the game for that. These days that's the norm for game companies to release games all glitched up and then they get patched later on. It's just the way it is. So yeah, Siberia 3, another fantastic game that takes place during the winter months. And the last thing I want to do is want to showcase actually a book. This book here, I read it a couple of years ago and it blew me away. And that's by John Krakauer, Into Thin Air. It details, basically John was writing for Outdoor Magazine at the time, and he took a trip to Mount Everest to document what some of these people go through, you know, financial hardships, how Mount Everest has been exploited to a certain degree because of people's egos, and he ends up going all the way up Mount Everest with a group of people just to experience it. He gets all the way to the top, and there's an avalanche, and the next thing you know, he has to work his way back down the mountain. And it just details the horrific events of 1995, where a number of people lost their lives on the mountain. John made his way all the way back down the mountain, and he was able to tell his story in this book, and it's pretty incredible. He talks about how going through this experience, he would never go up Mount Everest again. Again, it's just for people that have gigantic egos, just to say that they've climbed Mount Everest and to risk their lives and others just to reach the top. It's just absolutely unbelievable. And you can even see it now, because this book came out in 1995, 96. If you do your research on it now, Mount Everest, there's pictures of it where people are on the mountain and they're literally stuck on the mountain because there's so many people up there trying to get to the top, and then there's people trying to come back down, and it's basically log jammed. People are losing their lives up there all the time. Apparently once you get to the dead zone near the top, you know, the book talks about it as well, how people would literally walk over dead bodies just to get to the top of the mountain, and there's actual bodies up on Mount Everest that are frozen and they're stuck there because it's just too difficult to bring the bodies back down to base camp. So it's pretty incredible. John Krakauer, he's a pretty famous author. He also did Into the Wild Again, another incredible book that I read last year, and just fantastic. This is the hardcover, so if you can find this book out there, it will pull you in, it will suck you in, and it's one of the best books I've ever read. So that's pretty much it, guys. There's not much else going on. Obviously, we had the UFC last night. I didn't watch it, but I'll try to pull up the John Jones fight today on YouTube if I get a chance and check it out. So yeah, it's freezing up here in Ontario, Canada, and yeah, so I just wanted to kind of get outside. Again, not to knock anybody, any of you guys that have your own channels that might be shooting your videos indoors. Some people just don't have a choice. Some people are, you know, living busy lifestyles. I'm not too busy these days, so I can kind of get out of the house and shoot a video like this. But yeah, you know, I'd like to see more of you guys start shooting your videos outside, kind of get out of the games room. I don't have to have a wall of games behind me to talk about video games. You know, my channel is centered very much around video games and the gaming community, but I don't mind going off topic once in a while and, you know, talking about other things, because again, I don't have a huge channel. I have just under 450-ish subscribers. It's been that way for quite a while, and I'm fine with that. I don't really want more subscribers, to be honest with you. I just want to interact with you know, whoever's willing to come into my comment section and have a conversation. Again, I don't want it to get to the point where there's so many comments I can't respond to each person individually. I don't think just leaving a like and a heart is enough. You know, I like to be able to communicate. So that's pretty much it. I really appreciate you guys watching this video today. I'm going to get my ass back in my car. Somebody just pulled up and I'm freezing. So that's going to do it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.